Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Plant-Based Sweetheart. My name is Mary, and today I have a delicious recipe for you guys. It is oil-free white bean stew. Traditionally, it is made with steak chunks. It's a Middle Eastern recipe, by the way. I have obviously veganized it, solutionized it by making it oil-free, and it is super healthy, super clean, and super delicious. Also, it's very easy to make and it is not time consuming at all. You can have a full-on meal for everyone in a matter of I would say 20 minutes, maybe even less. So that being said, let's get into this recipe.
All right, let's go over the ingredients. For this recipe, you're going to need white navy beans or cannellini beans, preferably the white navy beans, but if you don't have those around, cannellini beans will do. That's what I used this time because I was too lazy to go back to the store. Next, you're going to need some tomato paste, and if you're only going to use it for this recipe, you can definitely freeze the rest for another recipe. Also, you will need some garlic. If you don't have any fresh, then feel free to use granulated garlic, as well as some onions. You can use any onions you'd like, and if you don't have any fresh ones, of course, granulated will work. And here I have some cinnamon sticks. Those are a must. They do bring a depth of flavor in this recipe, but if you don't have it, you can totally leave it out, no biggie. So you also need some red pepper paste. My jar is empty because I have frozen the rest, but you don't want to freeze it in this jar because then it will be hard to scoop out. What I did was I used my brownie silicone mold to put some red pepper paste in them and freeze it, and then put it in a Ziploc bag so I will always have some handy. That way it doesn't go bad, because if you don't put oil on top, if you refrigerate it, it will go bad. So remember to freeze it. You're going to need salt and pepper to taste. Of course, salt is optional. And if you want to give this dish another little kick, definitely add some red pepper flakes. As you guys can tell, I ran out of some. Luckily, my hubby had some in his drawer. So now I'm going to saute my onions. It's always good to make sure your pan is nice and hot. And I don't know if you can tell, I have some water in there. My pan was not as hot as I'd like, but no big deal. It's still going to get sauteed either way. As you guys know, salt is always optional, but I like to use some salt to help the onions release their juices and cook a little faster. Now that my onions are translucent, I'm going to add my garlic. And just a tip in case some of you guys are new to cooking, you don't want to overcook your onions, it will get bitter. I noticed my onions were starting to stick, so I added a little bit of water to saute the garlic a little more. And I basically sauteed it for about 30 seconds, if you will. Just gave it a good mix, and that's all you really need. Now that the garlic and onions are sauteed, I am adding the water. And don't worry guys, the full recipe will be down below. And now I've added my cinnamon stick. It's really not the whole stick. If you can tell, it's just a little piece of the stick, but it makes such a difference in this dish. And now I'm adding my tomato paste. As well as the red pepper paste, and then I'm going to give it a nice mix. And you definitely want to mix it until the red pepper paste and tomato paste are nice and dissolved in that water, and just give it a good mix. You don't want those chunks still floating around later in there. I also added my black pepper and some red pepper flakes, not that much, but just enough to give it that little kick that I'm looking for. Now that I have all the spices and everything in there, I'm going to give it a good mix, and like I said, make sure everything is dissolved, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about 5 minutes on medium-low heat. As you can see here, it's simmering very nicely. I'm going to give it a nice stir. Make sure everything is all good in there. Now that it's been simmering for about 5 minutes, I'm going to add my beans, and again, give it a nice mix. Make sure it's all mixed in there. And I'm also going to let them simmer in the sauce for another 3 to 4 minutes on low heat. We don't want to cook the beans. The beans are already cooked, but we do want it to simmer in there to catch all the flavors and get that goodness in them. And just like that, this dish is done. So once it is done boiling, I would move it to the other side where it's cool. You don't want it to keep cooking. It's ready. There are 2 ways to eat this dish. You can definitely eat these beans on their own. My husband likes to add a little bit of a tostada to get some crunch in there, but I can eat it just like this. But my favorite way to eat it is with some delicious rice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you make this. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so and hit that bell for further notifications. I can't wait to share more yummy recipes very soon with you guys. Thanks for watching. If you watch this whole video, you rock.